Hello, and welcome back to another video. In the last one, we crossed from New South Wales into Victoria via the Tom Grogan River crossing. We encountered a very difficult section of track and made camp not too far away from the crossing. I had a tyre that was slowly losing air and it needed to be pumped up every few hours or so. We didn't know what to expect from the rest of the track and was just hoping that it was in reasonable condition. The plan was to make it to the town of Omeo and call into a tyre shop for repairs. After our morning coffee, we pack up camp and head deeper into the Victorian High Country. Thankfully, the rest of the track wasn't too bad. And just recapping with the map, we've left from Tom Grogan, we came down the Tom Grogan track and made it to Mount Hope Road, where we've made our way across to Omeo, and we did manage to get my tyre repaired on a Sunday, which I was extremely thankful for. And it wasn't too far out of Omeo that we arrived at our next campsite, Dog's Grave Campground. This hut was such a luxury, as it was so cold and raining. Today we were met with some really good weather, so after a quick sweep of the hut, we were on our way. We made it to Talbotville, where we had some lunch. Talbotville existed as a gold mining town in the 1800s. Not much is left of it today, and it now serves as a great camping spot and central location to many great four-wheel drive tracks in the Victorian High Country. After having lunch, we crossed the Crooked River and set off towards the Blue Rag Range track via Brewery Creek Road and the Basalt North track. Brewery Creek Road was in good condition, but it did have a very steep drop off on the side and there was very limited opportunities to pass oncoming traffic. The track conditions quickly deteriorated when we turned onto the Basalt North track. It was very rough and incredibly steep, but it did provide some great views. We made it to the Blue Rag Range track and made our way towards the trig point. This was an absolutely amazing drive, with the mountain peeling away on both sides as you drive along the top of the ridgeline. The final push towards the trig point was quite steep and rough. We stopped for a moment to take in the views before making our way down to the Wangungurra River campground. On the way down the other side of Blue Rag, I ran into a deer who looked just as surprised to see me as I was to see it. Though this was a beautiful campsite, the track down here from the trig point was incredibly rough and steep. It took us about an hour and a half to arrive here, and I was seriously worried at this point, as the track was so difficult and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it out. Regardless, we settle in for the night and enjoy some leftover curry before waking up the next morning to tackle the steep ascent back to the trig point. To make things worse, the next morning it started to rain, so we packed up camp in record time before making the mad scramble out of here up to the trig point. Now, as is usually the case when filming, the steepness and the roughness of the track isn't shown on camera, but just know this is some of the hardest four-wheel driving I have done, and I was giving it everything I had to make it up this ascent to the trig point. We were able to breathe the shortest sigh of relief when we made it to the trig point, but not long after we arrived we started to get hit with some hail, so we made our way down the mountain. However, I was fortunate enough that there was a break in the weather and I was able to get a shot with the drone. We made it to some more well-maintained roads just in time as the weather just kept turning on us. We made it back out to the Dargo High Plains Road, where we sought refuge at Lankey Plain Hut to have some lunch. It was an absolutely unreal experience, and we are so lucky that we made it out of the Wongongarra River before the snowstorm came. And just recapping with the map, so we came from Omeo, and this is where we stayed at Dog's Grave Campground. The next day we came down through to Dargo, and then we made our way up to Talbotville, which is where we had some lunch. From Talbotville we went along the Brewery Creek Road, up the Basalt North track to the intersection of Blue Rag, and then made our way to the Wongongarra River campsite. The next day we backtrack to the Basalt North track until it meets Ritchie Road, which is where the weather really started to turn on us. We took Ritchie Road back to the Dargo High Plains Road. We made our way along here where we had lunch at the hut before making our way up the Alpine Road to the town of Bright. And this is where we would spend our next night. We decided to get ourselves a cabin and enjoy some luxury before making our way back to New South Wales. This is where I'm going to leave part 3. I'll see you all in part 4. Thank you for watching.